Hello again, and welcome to PJ Builds Bricks. My name is PJ, and this is the second episode of the series where I build the NASA Space Shuttle Discovery set from LEGO. Now, this set commemorates the STS-31 Space Shuttle mission, where the Discovery orbiter placed the famous Hubble telescope into orbit around the Earth. Now, if you haven't watched episode 1 yet, I highly recommend going back and watching it. In that episode, I go into a little bit more depth about the set itself, the history behind it, and just give a general overview of the project. And now I just want to briefly recap where we are from the first build. So in the first build, I built the display stand for the Hubble telescope. So you see it right here. It's not too involved, very simple, it's a fairly small bag. Today we're going to work on bag number 2. Now bag number 2 contains a majority of the Hubble telescope itself. And there are 37 steps, there's 211 pieces. I've got my pieces all laid out. And of course I've got my Kraken and Coke. So let's get to work. Alrighty, so I have my pieces all laid out here. I got my instructions ready to go. And I'm sure some of you might be wondering, why on earth does he have that blue towel laid down like that? Well, I got some feedback in my last video saying that because of the color of some of the pieces, this being a space set, most of the pieces are going to be black. I also have a black coffee table. So we'll do an experiment here. You see black Lego piece, black coffee table, kind of disappears. You can't really see it too well. So I decided to put down the blue towel to hopefully help you guys see a little bit better. So, anything to make the experience better. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, so I wanted to pause right here, right at step 24. So we're about a little bit more than halfway through the second bag, and I just wanted to go over some of the parts we've built and their equivalency on the actual Hubble. So as you're looking at the Hubble, this is the bottom. About up here is where the light's going to be come in. So right at the bottom where my finger is, we have the sun sensor. That's kind of around this area. So the sun sensor, of course, does exactly that. It's going to tell the Hubble where it is in relation to the sun. Now, the Hubble needs to know this so that it can remain pointed at least 50 degrees away from the sun so the delicate equipment inside of it won't get damaged. Now, these curved pieces that you see right here, roughly around here, somewhere about underneath there, are the Hubble's guidance sensors. Again, they're not really creative with their naming. These things do exactly what they sound like they do. They guide the Hubble. So there's going to be 3 of these on the actual telescope. So what they do is they detect starlight from a specific position given to the Hubble by the scientist. It locks on, and it helps point the Hubble in the right direction of the star, the galaxy, or whatever, the black hole, whatever they're looking at. Now, these are also responsible for making sure the Hubble stays put. And when I say stay put, I mean it stays put like a very good boy. 12 out of 10 good boy. Now, these sensors are going to keep the Hubble to no more than a 0.0007 arc second of deviation. Without getting into too much detail, 1 degree is 1/3600 arc seconds. So we're talking tiny fractions of a degree. Or as NASA likes to put it, they would be able to hit Franklin D. Roosevelt's head on a dime from 200 miles away. If only I was that accurate from playing golf.
4!
Ooh. I hope they have insurance. Whoops. Moving on, we have this little white piece right here. Now, this is going to be, right under here is going to be the primary mirror. Probably located right about where my finger is. Now, if you weren't already aware, telescopes work with 2 mirrors. They have a large one at one end and a small one at the other. So, you look into the small one, the light comes in a large end, and that's how you see. Now, what the Hubble does is it actually refracts the light. So it's a refractory telescope. And so it's going to pull in the light from this end. So this is the open end that's facing your star, your galaxy, whatever. So the light is going to come into here, and it's going to hit the smaller mirror up here. Now, this small mirror is maybe about 12 inches wide. So it goes past the small mirror, bounces around, the light bounces around here. It's going to hit this large mirror. Now, this large mirror is roughly 7.5 feet in diameter. Then what's going to happen is once the light hits this mirror refracts it back into that small 12-inch wide mirror. Now, this small mirror is what captures the images and sends everything back to Earth, sends off the light information to the gyroscopes and everything else. And of course, the last thing down here, right around here too, if you're wondering about how the Hubble stays in its position, it has a couple of gyroscopes, and that's what keeps it there. And if you want to learn more about how gyroscopes work, there's a pretty cool experiment you can find on the internet that involves a bicycle wheel, and an office chair. And now, back to the build.
This halftime report has been brought to you by science. Science! Not only is it real, but sometimes she can blind you with it.
earlier during the halftime report that I was talking about the small mirror. So this is the small mirror that's going to be absorbing the light. This is part of the very end of it that absorbs the light from the universe. So that goes right here, the very end of the Hubble. And there we have it. Get this last piece in. And bag number 2 is built. So here it is. It is the bulk of the body of the Hubble telescope. So we'll sneak preview of next week episode. Bag number 3 is going to have, it's going to finish off the Hubble telescope, of course, and it is also going to have the solar arrays that power the telescope itself. So again, I would like to thank everybody for tuning in to PJ Builds Bricks, and I would encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe and get your notifications for whenever we have new videos up, and I hope to see you guys soon. And just remember, if I could give you one piece of life advice, it's that the only acceptable time for you to wear Crocs is when you're picking up your Legos. Have a good night, everybody.